Well, we're back for another episode of Quick Corners, and we're joined today by Charlestown Azzurri striker Matty Cahill, mate. Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Well, let's get straight into it, mate. How did your football journey begin, and what got you into football?
I started when I was 4. I'd say I probably got into it through my brother. My mum didn't want me playing like footy and stuff like that, so I'm from the coast, so joined the East Gosford Rams. And played through about to the under 13s there. Eventually found my way into the Newcastle comp with Hamilton Olympic, or now Newcastle Olympic. Had a season there, went to the Jets, had a season there. Eventually went to the Mariners. My career there went right through the first grade. Eventually went over to America, played a year of college ball. Came back home to the Mariners Academy, had a really good season in the first grade squad there. I got a scholarship deal. Got put on loan to Hong Kong, came back, was in the mix in the A-League squad for a little bit, never quite cracked it. Went to Sydney NPL, had a big injury, and found myself without a team. And then made my way into the Newcastle comp, and this is my third season now in Newey.
Well, it seems like you've been all around the world playing football, mate. You get to go all around the world more than some of the big stars. How's been playing in the Mariners Academy, especially really pushing into their first grade side? How do you think that helped you now, especially where you are in your stage of football?
Yeah, I like the way how I kind of joined the academy late, to be honest. Like I joined in the under 16s. I wasn't the type of player that was good enough through like the 10s to like under 15s range. But yeah, once you're in that older age group and you're really trying to crack it, I mean, being in an academy, you're generally around really good and technical players. Like my cohort was a bit of a joke, to be honest. Like I had to name a few players like Max Ballard, Lewis Miller, Josh Nisbet, Jacob Farrell, like these types of players that have gone on to basically represent the Socceroos. Being in the Mariners Academy was good. I had a great coach in the first grade with Nick Montgomery and Sergio. So, yeah, it was great being in the academy.
Well, seeing some of your mates that you've mentioned there, like Dan Hall, Max Ballard, Josh Nisbet, how does it feel seeing them to go on and do such big stuff with their football?
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, like you go through the academy with these guys, and like they're your best mates. And then to see them go on and win multiple A-League grand finals, premierships, Asian Champions Leagues, they make their moves to Europe, and get Socceroos caps and stuff. Like I'm so proud of them. Like I'm always buzzing for them. Like
yeah, well, it'd be a pretty amazing thing. Well, playing in the Sydney NPL, like you mentioned, mate, how does that compare to now playing in the Newcastle NPL? Is there more competitiveness down there? Obviously, a lot more teams in that competition, more competitiveness, more eagerness, and I guess in a way more rivalry compared to maybe what you might have up here.
Yeah, I'd say like the rivalry is quite big in Newcastle, but yeah, the level of the Sydney NPL is probably just one step above, and that's just purely because of the intensity and physicality of the players. Like it's just a faster game in Sydney. I know we obviously play in a lot of grass pitches in Newcastle and things like that. But then you look at the area, right? Like it's a much larger area for players and teams to get players from and to attract them. And obviously they've got bigger budgets and stuff, so players from Melbourne and overseas visa players are attracted to Sydney. So the Sydney's comp's really, really good. Really good standards. But Newcastle's not too far behind, and especially when you look at like FFA Cup results and you see some Newcastle teams snagging some results and things like that. So,
well, last year and the year before you were at Lambton Jaffers, mate, and unfortunately last year you lost in that grand final to Brisbane and Magic. How did that motivate you to go even further this year in the NPL?
Last year with Jaffers, I was a bit here and there. Just I got two-footed the round the preseason game before round 1, and then I had ongoing ankle injuries, just really holding me back. I needed a little bit of a break, so I went overseas and had a holiday. And then I came back, and the ankle was kind of like it was much better than it was, and I started obviously performing to where I should have been compared to earlier in the season. And then we had that really good run, obviously, and we went right through the grand final. We just fell apart, just on the final day. So it was good to get in that grand final, and you could almost had your hand on the trophy. Um, but yeah, like obviously you want to be in finals football, you don't want to be missing out, and that's something at Azzurri where we're fighting to get back into that top five in the second half of the season.
Yeah, well, at Jaffers, obviously, it was really hard fought finals there. You managed to scrap every game and you had a really big end of the season. But that move to Azzurri, mate, how did that come about? And are you enjoying the move to a new club?
Yeah, I like the change. That came about basically from Jimmy Pascoe reaching out. And to be honest, yeah, it was more of like I guess, a business decision. Jaffers were awesome with me. I had a great relationship with Tanch, a great relationship with Sneto, the owner. They were really good with me. Like I had my big injury when they gave me the contract, and they even when I told them I was going to miss half the season due to my neck injury, they still were happy to sign me. They were always really good with me. So I loved Jaffers, and like I said, I had a really good relationship with Tanch and Steno and all the boys there. But just I guess the business side in terms of my strength and conditioning business, and the speed and coaching I'm doing, it was kind of too good to pass up once you put it down, and weighed up the pros and cons.
Moving into your strength and conditioning, we know it's something you're very passionate about, and you've got your own Instagram, you've got your own business with that. Describe how you think that translates to football. Obviously, fitness is a massive, massive thing in football. How does your strength and conditioning help you in football?
Yeah, I think it's massive. Like I mean, I've got a huge bias towards it, right? But if you're fitter, it's going to allow you to express your football qualities for longer, and more sustained periods. And then when you look at the strength and conditioning or speed based stuff as well, which is kind of I guess my biggest focus. I think speed is the number one physical quality that all field based athletes should be trying to develop and work on. And you see that in the major leagues, like the stats going about that if you hit X, top speed, then you have a higher chance of getting signed for a Premier League club, and things like that in those English academies. In those English academies, and then I think even when you look at the Jaffers in my first year, now obviously there's so many factors that go into this, but they had like 14 in my first year at Jaffers. We conceded 14 goals, I think, across the season within the final 5 minutes of games or the first half. Obviously, when you started fatigue, and then the season where I was, I guess, in charge of pre-season and managing in-season loads, that number was like two or three. And obviously, there's lots of things that go into it in terms of teams and setups and tactics. But I think your conditioning has a massive role in that.
Well, just lastly, mate, with your strength and conditioning, how can people find that, and how can they get set up for sessions with you?
Yeah, easiest way to contact me is on my Instagram. So Coach Matthew Cahill. So nice and easy, just my name. Yeah, I'm just running speed sessions in Newcastle, and then I do my online strength and conditioning stuff for boys that are super keen.
All right, well, Matty Cahill, thanks for jumping on, mate. Don't forget, everyone, subscribe to Kings of the North. Matty Cahill, thanks for jumping on, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
Well, that's all we have for this week with Kings of the North. Good luck to Matty Cahill and Charlestown Azzurri for the rest of the season. We'll see you next time on Kings of the North.